Many animals need sleep of some kind, and if evolution has retained a behavior across many species, it must be important. After all, lying unconscious for hours does not seem like the safest activity for an animal in the wild. So whatever goes on during sleep is vital. Long-term effects of sleep loss are associated with a range of health conditions, including diabetes, depression, stroke, and more. In this special feature, we address some of the most common myths related to sleep. Myth number 1. Your brain shuts down during sleep. Thankfully, our brains do not quit their day job during sleep. Important functions, such as breathing, means our brains can never fully shut down. There are two basic types of sleep: rapid eye movement, REM, sleep, and non-REM sleep, which has 3 different stages. Each is linked to specific brain waves and neuronal activity. In fact, during rapid eye movement, REM, sleep, when most dreams occur, brain wave activity is like that of wakefulness. Interestingly, despite the high level of activity, it is hardest to wake a sleeper during REM sleep. Once we have dropped off, our brain cycles through 3 stages of non-REM sleep, followed by 1 phase of REM sleep. In 4 stages of sleep, the brain demonstrates specific brainwave patterns and neuronal activity. This cycle of 4 stages repeats 5 or 6 times during a full night's sleep. While some regions of the brain fall quiet during non-REM sleep, other areas leap into action. For example, during non-REM sleep, the thalamus is relatively quiet. However, during REM sleep, the thalamus becomes active and sends the cerebral cortex the sights and sounds of our dreams. So one can say that the brain is always working. Myth number 2. If you remember your dream, you slept well. Most people dream every night, yet we often don't remember them. Dreams mostly occur during REM sleep, but they are almost immediately forgotten. It is only when someone wakes during or just after REM sleep that the memory of a dream has not yet faded. The researchers recruited individuals who tend to remember their dreams most nights. They found that these people became wakeful during the night more often than people who more rarely remembered their dreams. This suggests that people who often recall dreams might sleep less well. In short, remembering a dream is not an indication of good sleep. It is just that you woke up at the right time to recall it. Myth number 3. Alcohol guarantees a good night's sleep. Alcohol reduces the amount of time it takes to get to sleep. Someone who has drunk alcohol might also be more difficult to rouse. Because of this, people often assume that it has a beneficial impact on sleep overall. This is not the case. The quality of sleep under the influence of alcohol is poorer in comparison to sleep without alcohol. To awake feeling refreshed, our brain must cycle through the highly orchestrated series of phases and cycles mentioned earlier. According to a research paper, which looks at the relationship between drugs and sleep more broadly, says that self-reported sleep problems are highly prevalent among alcohol users, with rates of clinical insomnia between approximately 35% and 70%. To summarize, while alcohol does get you to sleep quicker, the sleep you have will be less refreshing. Myth number 4. Cheese and other foods can give you a good night's sleep. This is an old myth that most people in the Western world will have heard. Although well known, one only has to eat cheese before bedtime to find that it is certainly not true for everyone. However, eating a large meal just before bed, whether it includes cheese or not, can cause indigestion or heartburn, which could interfere with sleep. Eating a large meal, especially a high-carbohydrate meal, could trigger night sweats because the body generates heat as it metabolizes the food. A related myth is that certain foods, including milk, cheese, and turkey, might help induce sleep. This is because they contain an amino acid called tryptophan. Tryptophan is necessary for the body to make serotonin, which is necessary for the manufacture of melatonin, a hormone that plays a role in sleep. Therefore, the theory goes that foods containing tryptophan might aid sleep. However, studies investigating tryptophan intake have not found an overwhelming effect on sleep. Additionally, the levels of this acid in a portion of cheese or turkey are not high enough to make a difference. Myth number 5. You can train yourself to get by with less sleep. How much sleep is needed each night varies between people. The average adult needs about 8 hours a night. Some need less, others more. Most of us know from our own experience how much we need to feel good the next day. Getting less than this builds a sleep debt. Sooner or later, this will have to be paid back. You might not notice missing an hour or so every now and then, but it is not good to make a habit of it. If you do, you won't be able to think or react to things as quickly as before. Even if you don't feel sleepy, your brain won't be working as well as it could. Myth number 6. Sleeping in on the weekend prevents the effects of sleep loss during the next week. Sleeping on weekends will work when you haven't been sleeping enough and you need to pay back a sleep debt. But you can't bank sleep in advance. If you are behind on sleep, it will affect how well your mind works. Things won't get better until you catch up on the sleep that you missed. Regular sleep habits help build a good, strong sleep-wake pattern and keep you at the top of your game. Your body functions best with a consistent sleep pattern, so try going to bed and getting up at the same times every day, even at weekends. Myth number 7. Daytime sleepiness will always get better if you spend more time in bed. Good sleep needs the right length, timing and quality. There are a number of sleep problems that can worsen the quality of your sleep and cause sleepiness during the day. This can be the case even if you don't notice any problems at night. Myth number 8. Daytime naps don't help and they waste time. Adults usually don't need daytime naps if they have slept well for long enough at night. But they are useful if there has been sleep loss at night. If you do need a nap, it is best not to have one later than mid-afternoon. This is so you can still get a good night's sleep. Also, naps that last more than 15 to 20 minutes can make you feel groggy for a while after you wake up. This is known as sleep inertia. Napping is normal in young children. Myth number 9. The brain adjusts quickly to changes in your sleep schedule. We all have an internal body clock. This clock is set by when we get, and don't get, sunlight. This means we are at our most alert during the day. The time when we are the most tired is between midnight and dawn. Sometimes we need to change the times when we go to bed and get up. This could be because of shift work or changing time zones, jet lag. Some people cope better with this than others. But we all take time to adjust to these changes. Until we adjust, our sleep quality suffers and we don't function as well during the day. Myth number 10. We need less sleep when we are older. How much sleep children needs gets less and less as they grow up. But once they are young adults, their sleep needs stop changing. The amount of sleep they need will stay the same for the rest of their life. As we age through adult life, sleep can get less efficient. This could be from body aches and pains, among other things. Because of this, we might have to spend a bit more time in bed. But apart from this, sleep needs are stable throughout adult life. Myth number 11. Your brain and body can learn to function just as well with less sleep. Between work, friends, and family, who has time for a full night's sleep? It's just this common belief that if you try a little bit harder, you might be able to survive the consequences of insufficient sleep. You just adapt a little bit more or you have another cup of coffee and you'll be able to get by and power through. We hear that all the time. However, it's just not true. As much as we'd like to think we can train our bodies to need less sleep, the science says the opposite. All of the evidence shows, without a shadow of a doubt, that chronic insufficient sleep, of 5-6 hours or less, is associated with a host of unfavorable consequences.